Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and what we're gonna do today's podcast is on transitioning. And transitioning has so many different meanings that you just can't even understand to the highest degree of none. So when we had this conversation of being a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling, and not doing nursing work anymore, and just going full out on psychic medium magician work, that you just couldn't understand. Like, you're such a good nurse, Jen. You're such a good nurse. Why would you just stop? Well, it was time. It truly was just time to do it. So when I had it all away, I just couldn't even say no. So when it got to the point where, uh, my employer really uh did a throw under the bus per se, but it was per policy and procedure after going per diem, which I felt was the best thing, a slow transition out, that I just couldn't even understand why you would want me back in a recruiting on a third time. Like, I told you, I have, per law, I don't have to take that vaccine, especially if it's contraindicated. I don't have to change my religion to do anything. And so when it actually went down to it, it was like, actually, this is a perfect way to do what I'm supposed to be doing. It was focusing on my family. That was the hardest thing to say for a while because I got so sick. And when I actually lived through the system and not off SNAP benefits, Husky, we call it Husky for Medicaid out here in Connecticut. I couldn't believe that I was so bound by a piece of paper to get permission to actually walk out the door. I couldn't understand why. So basically, all you need to know is I am retired. And when I am retired, it means I am still recovering. I am still, in a way, after being so sick with pneumonia and septic, but I'm still able-bodied per insurance, that I could not even get home care for PTOT and speech because I had aspirated, that I couldn't even believe it. I just said, fine, I'll have to do my own. It'll just take a little longer. And then it went to, since a failure for policy and procedure at their school, which actually jeopardized a lot of people's safety that day. And they didn't want to tell me in their own way, straight out. I literally had to say, I think, maybe it's time because they keep getting into fights. It's still bullying. It's still a lot of things going on. And no, you can't call Iraq. Why are you calling Iraq to my husband who's deployed? I told you not to, over chicken nuggets. So basically, that was the boiling point of when the war started, per se. And then I went, why do I have legal in my house in their own way? You have a case. I'm like, oh my God, is this truly like voyeurism? I just don't even know. But basically, what had happened was like a revolving door of incident. So now that I am unschooling, I'm getting rid of bad habits. These kids are doing really good, but they're doing so well. They're actually contented. So what I'm doing was when I actually measured everything, we were ahead of the ball game. We can sit and rest. I couldn't even believe it. Yes, I renewed my nursing license just in case. But this is where we are in America, is that we're at this boiling point. It boiled to us on a per se to sit down and look and say, uh, yeah, it better be a smooth transition after what they say and did. That's my psychic outreach for today. But when I say this, you couldn't understand how it would be a walking in and putting your foot down into the White House and saying, It will be a smooth transition. You have to excuse me, it's my allergies right now. But when I say this, I just can't even do a do. I just can't even do a do. I mean, you went toward it to the highest degree of none, Jennifer Lee Peck. What happened with this? It basically means I am at my own pace. I am at my kids' own pace. I don't need a letter saying I urge them to re-enroll. I it gets to the point of no, actually per law, you have to be the clear sound mind parent. These guys, some of them did not come back clear sound mind because they went into incidences, multiple battalions in the United States. They are not clear on mind. They sit there quietly and say, no, no, you can't do it. You can't. They literally have something going on. So exhaust the system. I can't go to the VA. I can't do this. I can't do that. Yep. Because it was your own free will accord. Then when I looked at the orders, I said, why does it say French in accord? And that's all I needed to know. So for reality, on transitioning, was it really hard? Somebody said. And I said, at first, yes, because physically and emotionally, I was upset and I was tired. And I was, upset at my spouse leaving on deployment. And that is normal emotions because everything is everywhere. And then it went to the anger of, why didn't my spouse help me as much as he could? Because he was doing, running, and he had to make sure rank was okay. And then he had to make sure everything was okay. And then we had a loss in the battalion, a death, an unexpected death. I mean, I couldn't even believe this. And I'm curious on how many other states was this story where we are sitting here and saying, yeah, it finally calmed down after 3 years. I couldn't even see it. So when I say it, they're like, it really was not that bad. I'm looking over at a bunch of other things, and I'm like, there's just no way that these things would just happen to just me. There's got to be other people. 15 other people. I counted 15 other people in the area. Couldn't believe on how a stay put order of, you got to be home because you're sick, that you just couldn't even see it coming towards you. And that's why I always hated this term of you don't know what it is until it's in your face. So when I say that, you have to say, when it's this multifaceted, you actually have to just like stay to yourself, even in your own home, and stay in your lane, in a lack of a better term out here in Connecticut, because it actually almost became derogatory with all the car accidents happening. Is it conspiracy theory? I don't think so, but I am not the judge of that because it's not in my free will accord at this time to actually go. It went, no, you actually have to homeschool. I can teach a little bit of legal and law and what I know to my children as part of constitutional studies. So when we do this, I actually incorporate it. That's how I do about my day. So when I'm cleaning the house, we're talking about certain things and making it scientific and making it mathematical. And then as I pace myself, I actually say, you know, you just can't even get it done today on a flip. Yeah, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna take a nap. Why? I am still physically exhausted. Exhausted at days. So when I said I probably wouldn't do anything as other work, if I went back into nursing, it's probably not until next year. But you know what? I kind of like this homeschooling gig. I kind of like being the stay-at-home mom at times. But I love being a psychic and medium and doing my magician work too. I gotta go in for that. I had to do proof. But basically, when I went down to it, it went to you need to keep home. You just need to keep home. Yeah, after that. And they're like, no, she's got to. You'd be surprised on what you can make do, on how much you can live off of when you actually are on the same mindset of conserving and uh being about in your own way. So what actually happened? When he's ready to talk, he'll talk to me. Right now, the kids, they're happy. My daughter, who we just still can't even understand what happened at school, she's sleeping. She needs rest. As a nurse, she needs rest. No, it's not normal to vomit clear like that, like a poltergeist. So that is where it ended up being. So when I actually do this on transitioning, you have to take time and pace yourself. You have to learn to enjoy quiet. You have to learn how to enjoy being by yourself again and yourself when they're at school, when they're not at school, and having even a boundary of, I'm going into the bedroom because you're these ages 10, 11, and 12, almost 13. And you can tell me when there's a knock on the door, especially when the dog is barking. I can lay down and take a nap for an hour without supervision to the highest degree. So when I actually say that, it might say, well, you have to have all eyes on them. No, no, I don't. That's unrealistic terms. Unrealistic terms is actually looking at someone and saying, yeah, if you got to take a nap every day still, then something is still brewing. Good luck getting into a PCB uh, appointment. You're probably a year to a year and a half out here in Connecticut. And then it'll be, do you have a fever? Did you do this on your own? They run it down as front desk. I have to say, are you against your licensure? I think I will continue taking care of myself and seek medical treatment when I need to at this point. So, when I actually go about my day and it looks like I'm doing nothing, I actually did something. I probably did 45 things of mental health, not only for myself, but for my family. I actually made everything sanitary in my house again. I actually settled them down, which is part of like licensed medical social work. Then I had to be a teacher. I had to re-educate them. I had to try to make money. So when you actually start out as a business, it's probably going to take 1 to 3 years realistically by yourself to actually be putting yourself out there because consistency is key. Prudency is key. So anyone was like that, you just have to do. So as I'm scrolling through Facebook, I see one mother struggling and she's new to homeschooling. It really is just, it's okay. Do the theory of freelancing just for a little bit. They're probably wired, energetically connected still to school. You're going to have to make them cut some negative ties, but still keep positive. It's okay for them not to socialize too much if they've been having reoccurring uh illnesses of this GI bug that just won't go away or the strep throat that just won't go away. It's really okay with that. And it's okay to look at the phone and say, I'm not answering today. It's okay to look at the school email and say, I'm not answering you. Because if I answer you, it actually is going to probably come out in anger. It's okay to just sit quietly, even in your house with your children and spouse, and say, I don't want to talk today. I did do my mental health therapy. I went for a walk and I got to see the horses. That is mental health therapy because you're clearing. You're clearing. So on transitions, seek forgiveness of yourself. Seek everything about yourself. Seek it all out to be NONE, to be the nun in the house, to be the recluse of the spiders and the cobwebs. And don't worry about what it looks like at that moment because you're clearing, you're containing yourself, you're getting a grip on something, you're getting it owned and getting it done. To be a way of a lay and not a bay. I will literally say this. I'm not keeping anyone a bay. It's their free will choice to come and visit me. But actually, when we talked about containment in the last episode, it really is being nitpicky and choosy on who comes into your space when you're clearing and getting better more ways than one, mind, body, and soul, maybe after something significant. And that it's okay to say, getting reality a grip and that you can't get it done, that it's best to maybe hit rock bottom of alchemy and rise back up into nothing and taking a leap of faith. Our rock bottom here at our house was literally the basis of going on a deployment and promised a deployment gun, which they got none until they lamented. So that's all you need to know. It still has not changed since Afghanistan. So when we say this to the point and you say this to the crowd, you have to say, none was involved with that. Where did that go? It went from a done, done, done. Was it written out? That's all I need to know. Always say this, and this is what I say about myself. Please forgive me because I was written wrong to the basis of none, to the highest accord to get it done, to be a lun pun dun gun for fun. It means even on a summons on a credit card was written wrong on multiple people, probably in the country, to where you say, why am I going to court over $10? And that's all you need to know. So with that being said, that's all I have to say. We will talk about more things next week on how it is in this house. Everyone is actually much better over the last 3 weeks after another rundown. But that's life, and that's so it is. It was huge changes, like I said, as a psychic. Astrologically, with all those phenomena that happened, it didn't matter what was written on paper. Whatever was going to happen, it was going to happen. And we'll leave it as that. So, with that being said, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.